oftentimes if you're working with UGC content or you're working with micro influencers and you're having them shoot content of your product, you're often sending them a script. But when you go and you get into the headspace of what script is this person going to write, you're often kind of just pulling strings at what they should write. Use this methodology, use the jobs to be done model, use those three why questions to actually formulate that script, right? So that the micro influencer, that, or actor can tell their story of where they were, who they wanted to become, and how this product helped them get there. That is a very powerful formula. And when used, obviously by a good actor or a good, influencer, and it's actually delivered in a powerful way, it will inspire action. And that's our goal as marketers.
Hello and welcome to Pilot House All Killer, No Filler Fridays. We're coming at you again with what is on our mind about our digital agency this week. Welcome the guys. How's it going, boys?
Yo. Good.
Today we're going to be talking about some ad text hacks that we picked up on the forums from some of our contemporaries. We're going to be talking about diving a bit deeper on the Vessi customer experience that the three of us had after we bought some Vessis this week. We're going to be talking about the jobs to be done theory and how it can impact your ad text and your business. And then we're going to riff a little bit on all of the amazing opportunities for businesses to effectively pivot to e-commerce during these crazy times. So let's start quick. Let's talk about It's True. So we tested these ads across a lot of our different campaigns this week. We saw a strategy that Nick Shackelford articulated about how when he puts the words "It's true" at the start of his ads, he gets a significant boost. We had a couple other people chime in with things like facts. Van Oaks loves to say facts and then write his ad text. There was a few others. So what did we see across our campaigns during this test, fellas?
So we actually put an initiative in place. I mean, haphazardly, we just said, hey, everyone, run this. It seems to be working. And actually, some of our clients too reached out and asked us to do it on their behalf, also seeing the post. So it was a good one. So I think we ran it probably across 10 accounts. And, I'd say about 75% of those accounts definitely saw a lift. Some of it didn't last, and some of it has continued at a higher ROAS. So, there's a lot of things to consider there for sure in the additional copy and kind of where that ad is placed and how. But overall, it was an improvement.
What do you think the thinking is with why this works? It's similar to, it's a hook, right? It's basically just something very small and digestible that people, as they're scanning in the newsfeed, will lock onto, and then it'll just pique their curiosity. I guess that's the thinking with this kind of roadblock in terms of text.
I think that's totally it, especially if you put it on the first line, have a line underneath it. So, people have to press that continue reading to really get the rest of it. No one's going to go past "It's true" and, not wonder what that person's talking about.
It's true.
Right? So how could you not click on that?
I love that part too, just the but. So like, it's true. Okay, whatever. But wait, am I missing something about this truth? Right? It just gives you that extra half second to just move down the ladder.
It's interesting. I think we're in.
Once you get them that far, then the rest of the ad copy that was working should make sense. So
yeah, we're going to test a lot of these kind of intro hooks this week on a couple of our clients just to see if we can find some new winners out of that strategy.
Shout out to James Van Elswick. His was "To whom it may concern," which is a very formal. I'm interested to see how that one does. It seems very formal. He may be talking more about like lead generation or maybe email stuff, but it's definitely worth a test. And it just tells you just got to go out there and test.
Have we tested on any client accounts yet? That "To whom it may concern"?
No.
I don't know.
I want to.
We will.
We'll try it this week and get back on the next podcast then.
And if
James, send us an example of what you're doing there, man. I'd love to see it if you're watching.
Yeah, and anyone out there, if you've got another roadblock or even a roadblock, I know some people use emojis specifically for roadblocks where they'll frame a certain thing with two bright emojis or something with that idea of trying to hook the attention. I'd love to hear some other tactics out there that anyone might have for grabbing people's attention early.
We almost always, on a couple of the client accounts on the lead gen side, we almost always use emojis. I like to bookend the first statement in the text with like three emojis, and then have the statement in between. That tends to work really well. Yeah.
Nice. I do that as well. I'm a big fan of emojis and that roadblock technique. So yeah, let us know what's working for you out there. Let us know if It's True works for you. and we'll all improve our ads. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about our Vessi customer experience. 2 weeks ago, we interviewed Tony Yu from Vessi. If you haven't checked out that podcast, we'll link to it in the notes here. You have to see it. He just gives us, gave so many amazing in-depth descriptions of Kickstarter and YouTube integrations and his amazing give back campaign that's lowering their cost per acquisition by 90%. But of course, after this interview, I've been looking at Vessi for a long time, just as myself as a consumer. I've loved their ads. I'm a shoe guy. I love the design of their shoes. So we actually just went out and all bought shoes after this to sort of experience their sort of customer experience flow. And I think we were all pretty blown away by it. Dave, what did you do as soon as your shoes arrived?
I'm not usually much of a social media guy myself, but I did walk over to the kitchen sink, put the shoe in the sink, turn on the faucet, and just watch the beads of water flow off it, not obviously soak into the shoe. I was blown away. My fiance walked over, took a video. We were all, laughing hysterically. She posted on social media, and that was our first sort of UGC from me that I was a part of. And it was amazing to actually see all my friends, commenting on it and actually going out and buying the shoes as well. So just a, totally cool way to go.
How many pairs of shoes do you think you sold? And did you track that with UTMs?
Definitely not.
But even just with the three of us, I had the exact same experience. I wanted to promote the podcast, so I went out and filmed a video of me, using the hose on the shoes. I had two people message me after to be like, hey, I've been looking at those shoes. Are they really good? Are they, and so I think we sold just through our UGC, a few extra pairs there. And again, I'll do a callback to CrossNet's podcast where he talks about, just getting your product out there, getting it used and getting it seen is often your best form of marketing, because people see something interesting, something novel. They'll ask about it. They'll want to know about it. Yeah. And it's just like getting that product out there and used is sometimes your best viral marketing you could ever have.
Thank you, Kyle. I think it really helped with something like Vessi. It really helps because the shoes have a unique value proposition, which, like, if they were just normal knit shoes, like, we're not all going to obviously go throw them under a hose or under a sink. Or I went over to Kyle's house and tossed it under the sprinkler with my feet in it. And it was cool. But I think it really does help to, like, define that value proposition and try and work that into your post-purchase communications to try and get people to activate that unique selling proposition in their UGC.
Indeed. And again, one more callback to Josh Elizeche. When he gave us, exactly what you need to do with your product. You need to make people want it. You need to just, while you have them hooked, you need to get them to buy. And then you need to get it to them in 2 days, which is the other part of the Vessi experience that just blew my mind. Is literally 2 business days. These shoes were on my door. They're a Vancouver company. We're on the island, so it's a very short trip. But I imagine they put a huge amount of effort into making sure people get the product as soon as possible. And you guys had a similar experience.
Just on UGC in general too, like, of course, everyone's like influencer this, influencer that. But when you're bridging your influencer activity or your internal UGC, ads, copy, creative, videos, etc., it's just really, like, for brands that aren't creating this kind of content, it's pretty important. I think you'll find a drastic decrease in your cost per acquisition. Your retargeting strategies will improve, and so for the most part, people do consider this. I hope, but implement it as soon as possible if you're not already.
And if you've got an amazing e-commerce brand out there and you want to send us stuff, we will make your UGC for you. We will talk about it on our podcast. I just reached out to my favorite jeans brand. We're trying to get them on board, and they've got some really interesting parts of their brand. And I think, Dave, you already bought a pair of these jeans.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Dave's just getting right off here.
Yeah, that's right. Nice. Okay, cool. Let's move on to something that Dave brought up this week for our whole team. It's something I think our whole team has really looked into this week, and we're trying to integrate it into all of our clients' ads and their copy. It's this idea of the jobs to be done concept. Can you elaborate a bit on that, Dave?
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Saul Orwell from examine.com. We were on a call, Jeff and I actually, and he just pointed out this organization that has came up with this concept, jobs to be done. We all know it probably by different words, but we all kind of understand the concept. So really cool to see a whole organization around this framework, this way of thinking. And so for all the marketers out there, it's just a good reminder to kind of step back and a way to look at what you're doing. So I've just jumped onto their site here. A quote at the top that really spoke to me, Kathy Sierra. She says, "Upgrade your user not your product. Don't build better cameras, build better photographers. And think about that for a minute. We all know that, but really to reflect on the fact that, why are people buying your product? What is their job that they're trying to get done, right? So often, especially on paid media, we're focused on the product, and product shots work. We do it all the time, but really top of funnel, especially, Facebook is disruption marketing. They're not looking for your product. They're not looking for what you're doing. You are kind of coming into their living room and you're saying, and oftentimes you're saying, hey, you want to buy? And I'm like, well, no, I don't want to buy. I'm watching TV here. And so to think that if you're going to approach that differently, to actually come at it from a perspective of tell the story of what they're potentially trying to, who they're trying to get to. What's that better self? Who's that new me that they're thinking in the back of their head, they want to become, and help inspire that, right? Use your copywriting, use your creative as a way to inspire and remind them, you know what, I really do want to make a change. I don't just want to sit here eating nachos and watching TV. I'd actually rather, transform myself, whether that's if you're selling, fitness products, and obviously transform yourself to be better, to be more fit. We talk teeth whitening so often. It's very easy to focus on selling the product, and focus on whiter teeth, but go deeper, right? Why do they want that? Why do they want that outcome? Maybe it's they want confidence. Why do they want confidence? Well, it's because they want to be able to walk into a job interview and blow it away. Maybe they want to just laugh, openly. Maybe they want to have the confidence to walk up and meet someone new. That's where the focus should be. Maybe you guys can jump in and share some thoughts.
I think that's why Facebook advertising works. It's an interruptive platform. It's not an intent-based platform, but all of us walk around with these latent desires and these latent sort of like wishes for transformation. And we are, like all of us, the quote from the article is, humans are proactive, aspiring organisms. And we all are. So even though you're not necessarily speaking directly to someone's, I don't walk around thinking like, I need new shoes necessarily. Sometimes I do actually, but I might be thinking, I wish I got out more. I wish I could get out against, the weather. I wish I could walk in the rain more, or walk on the beach more. And so, because that would be part of my ideal lifestyle in a way. And so therefore the shoes, Vessi, for instance, are the vehicle by which that lifestyle is enabled, not necessarily like, oh, I need a new pair of black shoes.
Truck companies, or vehicle manufacturers, are the kings of this, right? It's like a Jeep that's rated for the highway. It's probably wobbly if you drive it too fast, but they'll have this guy in the Pacific Northwest driving over a log, going through a river, and the person that buys it is like some accountant, no judgment, but just to give perspective, an accountant who wishes that he was more adventurous and wishes that, he was doing the things in the commercial. And vehicle companies are they're the best at this. It's like a sports car, it's like the fastest corner and whatever. And so they're not selling, for the most part, they're not selling the actual functionality of the vehicle, they're selling the dream.
The sizzle, not the steak.
Totally. I think another good one is Fitbit. And I think if you think about what Fitbit's actually selling, they're selling a way for you to quantify your already existing daily activity and making you feel that you're getting fitter, right? When in reality, there's a gamification aspect of it for sure. Like people count what they're doing. They feel good about that. Like, okay, I'm going to walk around the block to get 10,000 steps today. But for the most part, I see so many fucking people wearing Fitbit watches or even tracking their steps with Apple watches or what have you. But it's a really cool way of selling a product just to, for people to feel that they're doing something and changing their lives, even though they might not be by such a huge margin. It's an easy way for people to get into fitness, I suppose.
And Fitbit specifically is kind of funny, right? Because pretty much every smartphone does exactly what Fitbit does now. It's just marketed as an external thing that you can tie your happiness to.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I have my phone, it can do the same thing, but oh no, I'm actually a better person because I have this, because I've made this.
Exactly.
I feel so good about it because I did 10,000 steps today.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head for sure.
I think so. And I think practically the idea that this always made me think of in terms of copywriting is, show, don't tell, and ask why 3 times. So why are people buying your product? Because they want whiter teeth. Why do they want whiter teeth? because they want to feel more confident or they want to improve their appearance. Why do they want to improve their appearance? Because they want to attract a mate or attract a better job, or it just improve their lives in different ways. So I think asking why 3 times is a great way to get at those underlying emotions that actually will drive someone in the interruptive news feed to want to engage your product.
There's a really good case study on Febreze, and I'm not going to try and recite it here because I can't remember the details, but look up the Febreze marketing strategy and where they went. It was basically a completely failing product, and they turned it into one of, I don't know who it is, Procter & Gamble or somebody, best-selling product just by changing the positioning of like, make your house smell better to don't be embarrassed by the smell of your house anymore. That was the positioning shift.
I feel like Febrez's whole marketing strategy is like teenagers stink. Like, in a way, there's just so many of their commercials are just about like shaming teenagers for not taking care of their rooms properly.
Well, it's accurate. So.
Hey, Eric, on that 3 whys concept, here's one way the rubber can hit the road for all the media buyers, brand owners out there. Oftentimes, if you're working with UGC content or you're working with micro influencers and you're having them shoot content of your product, you're often sending them a script. But when you go and you get into the headspace of what script is this person going to write, you're often kind of just pulling strings at what they should write. Use this methodology, use the jobs to be done model, use those three why questions to actually formulate that script, right? So that the micro influencer, or actor can tell their story of where they were, who they wanted to become, and how this product helped them get there. That is a very powerful formula. And when used, obviously by a good actor or a good, influencer, and it's actually delivered in a powerful way, it will inspire action. And that's our goal as marketers.
And Dave, on that, that's super powerful what you just said, but also ask your customers why 3 times. Why did you buy this?
Totally.
Go deep and get that feedback from them. Give them an Amazon gift card.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And it's often your customer, it's easy to overlook. And we've found with our brand owners, sometimes that, they're wanting to, respect the privacy of their customers and not nuisance them. But at the same time, there are ambassadors, right? Every brand, if you're doing an amazing job at what you do, you're going to have customers that want to tell your story and somehow bridge that gap, invite them, give them a platform, and they'll blow you away. And it will add rocket fuel to your marketing.
The other thought too is just like the delivery of this stuff. Like, videos take a bunch of time to produce. Content takes a long time to write, package it all up. What's more important and how? Like if you're a Shopify store, combining these ideas into your videos, that might be enough. But there's other things you can do too. You can use your internal team to write copy. You can work with your agency to expand out, what would just be a product page, answering those 3 whys in the page and slowly conveying content and copy in a longer format. It's a lot of brands aren't doing that, and it's a powerful thing, and it's effective.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, cool. This is a theme that I think we'll come back to again and again, finding ways to dig into this with specific products. So that'll be a theme with us. The last thing I wanted to talk about was sort of a bit of a brainstorm on the current state of things. I've been doing some biz dev with Pilot House and looking at trying to find some new brands to bring on, and I'm really interested in the brands like legacy brands that may have an e-commerce program, but it hasn't been the main focus of their business, but now it has to be. So the example that I kind of came across was a company on the west coast of Canada here called Rogers Chocolate. Big, huge, one of the biggest chocolate companies in British Columbia anyway. And they basically are still running. They're basically set up for e-commerce, and they're fulfilling orders as fast as they can. But they're actually growing during this crisis because of this pivot that they've made to e-commerce. And I think especially with people with established brands, if you're just able to put that focus on e-commerce now, you have a vastly bigger opportunity than you have with brick and mortar. So it's really one of those situations where even though a lot of people are suffering, a lot of businesses are suffering, the ones that are positioned well to take advantage can grow their brand massively.
I think there's also like this timing, or like we have conversations with brands now where it's like whether they want to be a part of the COVID story or not be. And so should we stop spend now and like, let's come back as not a part of COVID. But Eric, I think you nailed it on the head. Like the way people are buying and how consumers are looking for products is just shifted. It's like night and day. You know, I went to go buy a burrito. My girlfriend said pre-order, so you don't have to wait in line. And we used to just normally go to this food truck. We would sit there, we'd wait. We had our routine, go to the park, whatever. But I'm buying everything online, and if I'm doing that, who's already, you know, very technical and already online and younger, everyone else is too. And so brands really do have an opportunity, like you said, to come out of this probably stronger than they ever have.
It totally agree, Kyle. And I mean, I think it really needs to be, it can't be said, you know, heavily enough that like, there is never going to be a time like this in our lifetimes again. Like, this is very unlikely that you're going to see such a massive consumer shift from brick and mortar to online. So even like, if you're not testing online, even if you think it will not make money, I mean, you just have like, it's like a 10, 20, 50x higher chance of making it succeed right now. So it might not work out of the gate, but like, if you start testing a bunch of different ways to get online right now, the likelihood that one's going to stick and it's also going to be substantially cheaper than it would normally is just higher. Like, you are going to, if you're not doing it, you're leaving money on the table, no question.
There's some specific ideas, like what are some specific brands that you are like verticals that you see this being really applicable to? We said like delivery chocolates. That's a local example here. What are some other industries that'll be massively disrupted where the winners who move online will be benefited?
I think I've talked about this on every friggin' podcast we've done, but I still think food and grocery delivery is massive. Especially like I started buying groceries from a place that just like, I don't have to think about it. They just provide me a box of groceries, and that's just what it is. Whatever's fresh that week, here it is. I don't have to think about it. It shows up. Cost is right. It shows up at my door. There's no messing around. It's easy. I don't have to go and order anything.
What company is that?
It's the Village Restaurant, actually. So it's a guy in town who owns 5 restaurants. Obviously, they're struggling because they have 5 restaurants. They're like, okay, quickly, let's pivot to grocery boxes. Go. And they're doing great. Yeah, I love it.
Are you doing good with it? Like, is it quite busy?
They're selling a good amount of grocery boxes from what I understand. Yeah.
Man, talk about a pivot. Like,
but like, I don't want that to end. Like, for me, I want to get those once a week. So like Eric alluded to, I mean, maybe it becomes this other revenue line for them, right? That just like is an ongoing thing.
Yeah. It's interesting you brought up grocery stores too. Like Cisco Systems, huge grocery delivery. They're kind of the back end. They order and wholesale, compile ingredients, package it up for restaurants and grocery stores. And they're a massive business, and they're doing direct to consumer now. So they're essentially just trying to cut out the restaurant partners and grocery store partners that they would normally service. And that's like that has like, if that carries through and they're able to show that that's profitable on an ongoing basis, like that's going to destroy the way that we buy groceries.
100%. As it should. It makes sense.
Yeah.
In a way, but if you're a smaller business, it behooves you, one of my favorite words, to actually, you know, to jump into that chain as early as you can, because these, you know, we're with big players like Cisco, you know, like, you don't want to get cut out. So get online, get comfortable with e-commerce, get a strategy, get an agency as quick as you can, and get moving.
Yeah, I think there's literally no business right. I mean, some people sue me for saying this, but I don't think there's any business right now that can't pivot in some way to provide some level of their service, maybe not the full level of their service, digitally. I was thinking about like accountants, right? So accountants right now, I mean, their business kind of stays the same, but I know like the local tax businesses are struggling because people aren't doing the drive-by. Like, I'm sure H&R Block is suffering, right? I have no idea, but I'm just guessing they are. But, you know.
Tax deadlines are postponed too, right? So like.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I accountant, I was like, yo, I gotta do this. And
yeah, I know.
And he's like, you don't need to worry about it right now. And so
we got time, dude. We got time.
Yeah, we got
like,
time.
Right now is the time. Like then fuck. Like, get on customer acquisition. Like, build that list and do that through things that people need right now. Like, every government has some kind of crazy incentive package. They're all kind of just ripping it out as fast as they can. They're complicated. You know, whether you're talking about small business or personal incentives. And again, that's going to be gone in a couple months.
Yeah.
But right now, I saw some local politician actually put it on her website, and she was like, I am the place to get all this information. And her website has a really clear laid out, here's how it all works, here's all the things you can apply for. And I've gone back to that site a few times. I don't like, I've never heard of this woman before, but now I know who she is as a politician. So as an accountant or as some other small business provider, I suppose, like, do that, like, and then like it could be free, but add an email submit on the page and just get those emails. So when everyone does have to do their taxes, you hit them up again. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. So if you're out there, if you've got a offline business, it is now on you to find a way to bring it online, and there are partners out there that can help. So that, I think, today will close our all killer no filler. This was a pretty good one. We talked about editing some stuff out. I don't know if we're going to be able to edit anything out here. I think it's just all killer. I don't want to get sewered, but I do love that word as well, almost as much.
The word killer is interpretive, right? Like what's important to who. So we'll get some feedback and go from there.
Yeah. Do you guys know? Does anyone know what all killer no filler is actually from?
Isn't it Sum 41?
A Sum 41 album from like 2003, I think.
It's a Canadian punk band.
Which is,
punk
we
band.
make the best punk rock, everyone out there. So if you're
Punk
not
rock,
Canadian,
it's pretty punk rock.
well, it looks like we will have some edits at the end here. Thanks very much for tuning in. If you guys like this, I want you to make sure you go to YouTube, search for us on YouTube. I'll include those links there. We find YouTube, we're getting a lot more longer form views. So if you want to tune out the world on the Facebook feed and really dive into this content, we recommend YouTube. I want you to share this content with your friends. And yeah, let us know ways that we can improve it. And if you have a brand and you want to come on our other podcast, Hot Seat, we're getting some really amazing brands lining up to come on that. And we'd love to have more. So if you know a brand that's out there, make sure you send them one of our Hot Seat podcasts and have them come on as well. It's a lot of fun. I'm having the time of my life making all this content with Pilot House. It's been great.
Hell yeah.
Nice. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see you again soon.
Take care, boys. Bye.
Thanks.